Victoria and Kyle give in to temptation. Plus, Adam and Phyllis exchange warnings. At Lily's place, she asks Billy to prove he is the right person to run Chancellor. Can he even convince himself? Billy argues that he's been doing that for years already, and questions if she'd follow through given that she's using the company to mend her relationship with Kane. Lily presses Billy to prove to her that he's worthy. He's offended and red in the face, but launches into an impassioned speech about how much he loved Catherine and the vision he's had for years for Chancellor. Lily wants to know why he'd be better than Kane. Billy argues that he's a caretaker there and won't take the company to the stars as he will. Billy admits that his redemption is a part of this. He's learned from his mistakes and can use that knowledge to make Chancellor soar without Jill or Jack second-guessing him. This is my time, and I'm going to make it count. Lily still isn't convinced. Billy tells her, "This is life-changing for me. This is life-affirming. Are you going to stand in the way of that?" Billy knows he's let Lily down in the past. He has all kinds of regrets, but he's asking her to believe him one more time. Lily is impressed and will give him an answer in the morning. As he leaves, she thanks him for the pitch, and he thanks her for listening. It's on. At Jabot, Kyle and Victoria banter over drinks about their marketing campaign. Moving closer, he asks when she plans to spring this on her family. She asks, "You mean that you and I are kind of a team?" He grins. "Is that what we are now?" Victoria says Victor will find out when they launch the competition. Kyle teases that he won't like that. Victoria shrugs that he'll be fine when Vibrante trounces the competition. She doesn't play to lose. Kyle doesn't play to lose either. Getting tipsier, Kyle and Victoria keep up the banter as she leans on the desk. Kyle reminds her Jabot is king in the cosmetics world. She leans in and promises to knock the swagger out of him. He whispers about her underestimating him, and then they're kissing. Passionately. The clothes start coming off. He locks the door and it's on. After sex, Victoria gasps, "Wow, that was Kyle agrees, "Yep." She sighs, "Oh boy." He adds, "Huh." They try writing it off to the drinks and celebration. This should be a one and done. But it was pretty great. Getting dressed, Kyle asks if they should schedule another meeting. Victoria will look at her calendar, but it probably shouldn't be there. Kyle agrees, unlocks the door, and then turns to kiss her face off. They smile indulgently and agree that they can't tell a soul. Victoria heads to the ranch to see Nikki, who explains that Victor's gone to see Nicholas. Talk turns to Jack being Nick's sponsor, and Victoria tells her mom that Jack and Diane have gone on vacation. Nikki asks, "How do you know that?" At that moment, back at Jabot, Kyle gets a text from his parents who have landed in Tahiti and tease him to look after Jabot and stay out of trouble. Picking up Victoria's earring off the floor and pocketing it, he muses that the staying out of trouble part may have come too late. At the club bar, Adam spars verbally with Kane, reminding him that they're supposed to be working together to deal with Billy. Suddenly, Phyllis appears and screams at Adam, "Where the hell is Matt? Where is he? What has your family done with him?" She explains that Matt didn't show at Arabesque and has disappeared. Victor threatened consequences for him leaving the ranch. Adam claims they've done nothing to him, but he wouldn't shed a tear if he's gone. Kane saw him last, and he said he wanted to stay because of Phyllis. Now she knows something is wrong. Adam tries convincing her that Matt just took off, given no one wants him around. Phyllis is sure he wouldn't have done that. Adam challenges her to go file a missing persons report on the criminal and hopes he stays gone. He's surprised that she's being such a sap over Clark. Just because Matt was nice to her after she tied him up doesn't mean he trusted her. Phyllis rants about Matt's commitment to her being real and genuine. Kane can't help but admit that he liked the guy as Adam grimaces. Phyllis declares that something happened to Matt and things will get ugly when she finds out who's responsible. She stalks to a table. Adam asks Kane if he thinks she has real feelings for the guy. Kane shrugs. Maybe she's lonely. Adam goes back to the Billy issue, noting Kane has been less than helpful. They bicker and Adam scoffs that while Ashby takes his time, Abbott will walk away with the prize. Kane smirks that he has plenty of other lucrative businesses and leaves after taking a call from Lily. Adam walks over to Phyllis, who asks how Nick is doing. Adam says he's sticking it out at rehab. He tells her that when they were in Vegas, Matt Clark scared the hell out of him. Not a lot of people can do that. What the hell do you see in this guy? At the ranch, Victoria tells Nikki she just happened to run into Kyle, who told her that Jack and Diane were headed to the South Seas. Nikki muses, nice. Victoria smiles to herself, very nice. At Society, Billy spots Kyle at the bar. His nephew offers to buy him a drink, and he wonders why he's feeling so generous. Business or pleasure? Kyle muses, a bit of both, I think. At Lily's place, she tells Kane that Billy just left. She asked him to make a case for why he deserves Chancellor. She may be inclined to give him control of the company. Ashby asks if he was convincing, and if the answer is yes, would she really go through with it? At the club, Phyllis needles Adam for sounding like he cares about her. He sighs, let's pretend for a minute that I do care. Nothing that she has ever done is in the same category as Matt Clark. He's a monster. She insists that's not the Matt she knows. He's trying so hard to make amends. He's a good man. Adam doesn't feel it. He doesn't trust him. He hopes Clark doesn't let her down, or worse. Phyllis warns if Victor had anything to do with Matt's disappearance, all the goodwill between them is out the window. Genoa City is about to become even more complicated as buried feelings, dangerous secrets, and old rivalries collide. Victoria Newman and Kyle Abbott may have spent plenty of time convincing themselves that they could keep their emotions under control, but the latest developments suggest their carefully constructed boundaries are beginning to crack. Meanwhile, Adam Newman and Phyllis Summers find themselves on opposite sides of another tense situation. Neither trusts the other, yet both appear to recognize that something is coming, and they may have very different ideas about how to deal with it. Victoria and Kyle cross a dangerous line. Victoria has always prided herself on being able to make difficult decisions, even when those decisions come with painful consequences. Kyle, meanwhile, has spent years trying to escape the complicated expectations attached to the Abbott name. Their growing connection creates a problem neither of them expected. At first, Victoria and Kyle may have told themselves that their conversations were harmless. They could discuss business, family problems, and personal frustrations without allowing emotions to interfere. But something changes when the two are left alone with their thoughts. Kyle begins to realize that Victoria understands some of the pressures he has been carrying better than most people. Victoria, in turn, discovers that Kyle isn't quite the person she once believed him to be. That realization could be exactly what makes their situation so dangerous. Neither wants to admit that their relationship has crossed into unfamiliar territory. There are too many people who could be hurt if their secret comes to light. Yet, temptation doesn't always arrive as one dramatic decision. Sometimes it happens through a series of small choices. A private conversation becomes another private conversation. A moment of honesty becomes an emotional confession. And eventually, Victoria and Kyle may find themselves facing a decision they can no longer pretend isn't happening. The consequences could be enormous. A secret that could destroy everything. The biggest question is whether Victoria and Kyle understand what they're risking. Genoa City has never been kind to people who keep secrets for too long. Sooner or later, somebody notices a strange look, an unexplained meeting, or a story that doesn't quite make sense. If Victoria and Kyle believe they can hide their growing feelings forever, they may be seriously underestimating the people around them. Family members could become suspicious. Enemies could start asking questions. And one person discovering the truth could send the entire situation into chaos. Victoria also has to consider what this means for her future. She has fought hard to establish her own identity and make choices on her own terms. Allowing emotions to take control could leave her questioning whether she has made another decision that will eventually come back to haunt her. Kyle faces his own crisis. He has spent so much time trying to prove that he can make mature choices. If he allows this situation to spiral, He could find himself repeating mistakes from his past. The two may believe they can control the situation, but Genoa City has a way of proving otherwise. Adam has a warning for Phyllis. Elsewhere, Adam Newman has his own concerns. Adam knows Phyllis well enough to understand that she rarely walks away from a challenge. If she believes something is important, she tends to keep digging until she discovers what she wants to know. That determination could put her in serious trouble. Adam may decide that Phyllis needs a warning before she pushes someone too far. But Phyllis isn't exactly the type to appreciate being told what she should or shouldn't do. Their conversation could quickly become a battle of words. Adam might suggest that Phyllis is playing with forces she doesn't fully understand. Phyllis could fire back that Adam is hardly qualified to lecture anyone about dangerous choices. And that's where things become interesting. Neither person necessarily has to trust the other to recognize a common threat. Adam may have information that Phyllis doesn't have. Phyllis may have suspicions that Adam hasn't considered. For a brief moment, the two could find themselves discussing the possibility that someone else is manipulating events behind the scenes. But cooperation between Adam and Phyllis is never simple. Every warning comes with a hidden motive. Every question could be a trap, and every piece of information could be used later.